Hey everybody, Texas Trucker here, Lance's Performance Shop, Lone Star Mopars.com. Saturday night, just about 10 p.m. here, and I've had to change my plans. I had kind of the late evening planned out, and forgot some keys, and just decided to say screw it, we'll do something else, and this is something else. So it says, what I want to say is KC Tool Hall 97. If it's not, it's up there, 96, 97, 98. Feel like we did 96. We've been doing a lot of like take to work type of deals, right? And that's what this is going to be, for better or for worse. I feel terrible because there's some really cool stuff that was brand new when I got it in, and when I got it in was a long time ago, and that's happened with 3 different things that I really would have liked to showcase early. And I've realized now that it kind of gets hard to keep track of things, especially when you're like using them. I kind of think I might have showcase some things that I haven't gotten to showcase in previous showcases because I haven't gotten to do them. It gets confusing. It doesn't really matter for you, but what does matter, I got timestamps and links both there solely for your convenience. If you want to skip around, see what we've got, spoil the video, go right ahead. Choice is yours. But we're going to get started here, and like I said, this is kind of just work-inspired purchases. Alright, just dropped this entire bag right on my foot. Luckily, nothing heavy in it. This stuff was inspired by a tool of the day. The tool of the day is not going to be showcased here, but it's awesome. This is a repeat offender. Not exactly sure how many times I brought this thing in, but it is from Felo. It is their part number 494, and it is going to set you back about $7.96. I would say it's well worth it. It is technically a tack claw. If you look, you've sort of got the V-notch, the dovetail, whatever you want to call it. You've got a very subtle angle, and if you've ever got thumbtacks that are pushed in the corkboard and you can't get your fingernail under them, this does a marvelous job. Obviously, that's going to slit, go right around the tack itself, and then lift it up. Do I use that for tacks? No. I actually have, but I think this is like number 3 or 4. This one's going to work. What I'm going to try with this one is actually staples, and I'm not sure that it's going to work well, but it's one of those things that's just insanely handy. It's basically just like a really good miniature pry tool. Not gonna lie, full disclosure, what they primarily see use for, and the reason I purchased one for my mother several years back, is to dig weeds out. It works fantastic for that. It's sharp, it's compact, it's strong, comfortable in the hand. It's got a lot going for it. It sounds stupid. Well, if you're someone, that's actually what I was doing earlier, was pulling more weeds. If you want to go to town with that, by all means, feel free. It's just realistically a fantastic utility tool, and if for whatever reason, if one of you has the dubious task of extracting tacks, I don't know, maybe you work at a post office or some community center, you volunteer, if you have to like pull people's thumbtacks for job postings or flyers or something, well, there you go, that's your ticket. You're also less likely, if you come in with like a flat blade, you have a tendency to slip out, especially with a tack where you can go above or below. And if you're resting your hand there, guess what happens? You get stabbed. So this one's a little bit safer. But moving on to something quite a bit more exciting, I would say. Although, do not sleep on that, especially for the price. Plus, it's got kind of the cool old school acetate. Nice texture to it as well. Again, if you can't tell, there's like little thumb grooves here. It's a really well designed, I have to say, but I hate the barcode. It comes off, sadly, so does that silk screening. What are you gonna do? This is a cool deal. I should mention, since it's tucked into this box right here, anytime you order from KC Tool, you're gonna get a bit of thanks. Regardless if you spend $1,000 or $5, you get a bit of thanks. It's currently shipping as a number 2 from Witte. That will come into play here not before too long. Also, if you exceed the $100 threshold, you receive a German tool sticker pack. 75 gets you free shipping. So my apologies for getting to plug that at the start. But it was sitting, like I said, in this box, which sadly has sustained some shipping damage. Heavy items, not really the most ideal packaging for them to be showcased properly, but you get the idea. If that looks like we've got some really nice Gedore handles that are black and blue, that's exactly what we have. And this is their part number S8394. Again, there's a longer one. We'll have that linked for you. But $70.83. And if you're thinking like, $70.83, well, what is it? Well, conveniently, you can't really tell 100% because it's masked, given the way it fell out of there. Arrived to me fine, like in the box like this. It's just a shame, you know, how they had it held with the cardboard tabs, because it would have looked way cooler for you if it was, you know, still oriented properly. But hey, it's a long journey from Germany to Texas, I suppose. So what we have, though, so many times when I purchase things, I'm weird. I do math. I try to save myself money so why I can buy more tools, of course. And it's almost always, weirdly, more economical with German tools. It's one of those things. It doesn't work this way with American stuff. The Japanese sort of, I guess, model what we do, or the market they're entering, maybe. And so many times with German stuff, you come out better economically, oftentimes by a considerable amount, to buy Plier 1 and Plier 2 both standalone, as opposed to a set. You're accustomed to bundle and save. It's shoved down your throat. You can't escape it every time the TV's on or the radio's going. Bundle and save. And, this is one of those rare situations where it was more economical to buy the set. I wish it was always that way. You could just go into a default. But if you're new to German tools and you're thinking like, okay, I'm going to go get the 3-piece set of this and the 5-piece set of socket set over here, stop, take some time, price things out individually, and you will be surprised at how much extra you're actually paying for the set. Oftentimes you don't even get like this. It's not like it came with a plier holder or a bag or a canvas roll-up or anything. Some people, if you really want that stuff and you think, oh, well, it's definitely worth the $10 to $38. It's the difference if I just buy individually. Factor that in for everyone else. Again, take my word for it. I've been doing this for a while, and I have nothing to gain aside from helping you out. So it's kind of a bittersweet deal. Gedore has gone back, of course, for a while here in America, and people argue with this all the time. But they had the beautiful blue textured dip. So think Knipex, Stavilla, green dipped, you know, whatever, NWS even, although people rarely get that. I really liked it. It's a great color. It's kind of like the Gedore Sky Blue, a little bit lighter than this, I would say. And due to conflict of interest with another plier giant already established in this country, they kind of had to go like a burgundy maroon Matco type of a deal. And I don't like that at all. Plus it was just dipped, like channel lock dipped, not textured. So cleans up well, yes, but I've gotten to a point, man, you know, I don't know. Channel lock, I can take it, but everywhere else, I just kind of don't like it. They're now back with like the cool blue textured handles, and you can kind of specify if you're really picky or you're just trying to color things appropriately for different workstations. Maybe you manage a place or set up station A, B, C, and D type of a deal. That's a big deal because color coding allows you to keep tabs on it. And you can realize it's Daryl that always loses things and go grabs them from station E. All right. So regardless of that, though, that's kind of what I plan to do. And I'm sitting there and I'm pricing them out, and it turned out to be more economical to go this route. Plus, I'm not going to lie, at work, I'm kind of like the Tin Man. I am covered in anise all the time. If I'm not, and I don't think I'm going to get dirty, I'm wrong, because people don't wipe their hands off. And you go and you grab your little Klein nut driver, and they're not in order, so you grab the wrong one and you get the second one, and you know what they have in common aside from being out of order? They're covered in anises that you can't see until you feel the cold, mildly refreshing sensation on your hand, and then your hands are filthy, and it's just a mess. And I'm not gonna lie, the downside to any textured grip is they're a little harder to clean if that's important to you. That's where the smooth vinyl dip stuff, you know, kind of works a little better. But I just don't like it. I prefer the texture. And I honestly prefer this. This is JC. This would be Gedore's 2-component handle. This is their Force Plier set. And they've got a lot of these. They've got 2, 3 pieces. They've got all sorts of iterations of them if you kind of want to explore. There's really no real details here to share with you. No packaging highlights. It's just no frills, straight to the points, and that is blurry. So again, nothing really to share here either aside from the S8394. So really, really cool sticker here. I wonder if we could salvage that. I kind of think we can, and you know what I don't care about? This. So, if we weren't strapped for time here trying to do a video, I would have not done that. But, right here, this was hidden. I think you probably caught a few glimpses of this pair of pliers. I'll set that to the side in the event that I can salvage that sticker, turn it into a magnet. And this is what the two-piece set is. And this is really the big selling point to me on this set. Side cutters. I use side cutters a ton. And when I'm there at work and you're sitting there chomp, 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 going through your PVC coated wire mesh, you wear them out. And your hands also get tired, and that's where you get really, really picky about different grips once you've experienced different things. So this part number right here, standalone for you, we're going to zoom in. It's going to be the 8314-180, made in Austria. And again, phenomenal. I want to say I've got this pair here, would have been like a standalone purchase, but these are kind of their like upgraded cutters. They're really good out of the box for people that like to complain about like, you're too stiff. Hey, things break in. But these are actually pretty legit in my opinion. Obviously you get to hear it's sort of got a little resistance, but we're not missing much. Also, I'm never going to have them open that far for what I'm doing. So little arrows are there to line you up. And then this right here is kind of cool because it is a combination plier. And what is the combination of? Gripping and what? Cutting, evidenced by the arrows you see there. Those are positioned from what I recall when I had to research this diligently back in the day. I think that's where they've determined like the optimal, you know, like cutting position is type of a deal. So not cutting here, not cutting right down there at the joint, but right there, kind of just a little bit up in this case. And then here, kind of the same thing, looks like roughly the exact same distance from the pivot. But in terms of the teeth, we don't have cross hatching, we don't have anything crazy. We got a nice grip section, and then we've got the ability to pull. You can hold awkward shaped fasteners, nuts, things along those lines. And this right here should be able to be cleaned a little bit easier than our others. Not sure if I read the part number there, 8250-200. So this is basically a 7-inch and an 8-inch, if you will, side by side. Pan back out again. Pricey, yes, you don't often see them. If it's a situation, let's say you're at work and you've got a good crew there, and you know you got people into all sorts of stuff. They try things out and they're sick of their, I don't know, we'll say Kleins or something. They want to go and experience the full line of Knipex, and that was kind of your gig, right? You know, they've used your little side cutters and Cobras over the years, and they probably got their own Cobras and Pliers, but now they're going like all Knipex. You're like, dadgum, you know. And Daryl goes in and he gets the fancy 2-component handles, and then Eddie goes and he gets the red textured ones. You're like, I can't tell my stuff apart now. And you've got to be different. You got to have something, you know, isolated so you can say, hey, get your hands off my pliers, Daryl. Here you go. And then, of course, as long as you keep them from trying these, they won't go in and purchase those unless, of course, they love black and blue. Which, to Gedore's credit, that is one of my favorite color combinations. It looks fantastic in my opinion, and it's very, very unique. In my opinion, with Knipex, I consider it to be more of a 2-component. It's not necessarily comfort grip, even though that's what anything is coined. NWS, the sci-fi grips, in my opinion, those are like very comfortable. They're a little softer, if you will. I would say this is probably a bit softer than Knipex. Probably would still stick with 2-component, but if I had to pick something to have in my hand for hour after hour or a repetitive task like snip, 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 if you never cut wire mesh, I'll tell you. Of course, like production, you know, I come in and I use a shear pneumatic powered, so that's fine. But then, like, let's say you've got quarter, half, even 1 inch. Obviously, the bigger the better, the fewer cuts you're going to make. Let's say we have a 36 by 22 inch panel or something. You got to come in here, and I'm a perfectionist, so I have to come in and stub everything. And so I'll very rarely get to use this optimal point, but up there at the top, that's why I have divots worn in all the side cutters. But I'm excited to see how these actually do there. So why I never thought to take these to work is beyond me, but I didn't, and now I've got a set to take there. It's going to tie in really nicely with what I've got going. I'll have to showcase all that at some point, but felt like it was a pretty good deal. We pulled the trigger, and eventually I do hope to get some of their glorious blue textured handles in as well. So up next, I gotta skip some stuff. Those are gifts from my nephew for Christmas. I got them on clearance. Stupid good buys on both. Really not terrible retail on one of them. But anyway, that doesn't matter to you. What does matter to you is screwdrivers. And I know what you're thinking, like, good Lord, screwdrivers, why? I promise you this. I will make this educational for you, as best I can anyway. All right? So we're just gonna get started with the bag that I dropped on my foot, which has two things left in it, and one of them is right here. So, if you didn't guess, you know, from my previous things we brought in for the work setup, and then this, I got the Vitts here. These are what used to be the Maxx Pro Plus, now I think they're just Maxx Plus. It gets really confusing. It always was, and now it's even more so. This little guy right here, I'll set you back $6.63. There's some adhesive right there. I'm gonna have to ballast off of it. One of the things I love, aside from the tri-lobe design, when you don't have the striking cap with these, you get the tip identification, which is going to be awesome, especially how I plan to locate these in the cart. I have this one right here that is a 4.0. It's kind of hard to find those, and the tip is missing on it, right, because I broke it. Prior to using this as my main staple extractor at work for a period of time, right after we broke the Gedore, I think, I was using an equivalent of this, like the Pro Top, which is gone now, but it's still there. It's, again, we'll cover that all at some point. But what I'm getting to is this one is really, you know, striking cap, so tang through pretty solid. The other one was not, and it was like this, even though it was a slightly bigger size. I got some serious flex. You hear the line, bend but don't break, right? And that's what it would do. But it got to the point it was freaking me out. And I was like, I'm going to ruin this thing. Like, even if the tip never goes off or the shaft doesn't break, like, it's going to be a wonky driver that'll never have utility to actually run screws in should I need it. Unless they're at a really weird angle, like in a hinge on a like antique cabinet or something. But this little guy is right here. I think I paid $6.63 for him. And you're thinking like, hey, why would you do that? I thought you had bought some other things for that. Well, I did. That's actually going to be a standard screwdriver, and here's where we're going to get nerdy with you, save you some money. If we come in right here, I'm just going to go ahead and set this down for you, all right? This is the Witte Maxx Plus. If you look way up there, which you can't see, now you can, that little thing, these minus and the plus, that's slotted in Phillips. We're not doing math, at least not yet anyway. This is a 6-piece set. You think, 6-piece, 5-piece might have been the more economical choice. You are correct, sir, but 5-piece, these are current prices. I think the 5-piece might actually be on sale right now, but run with me here. So right now, as it would be if you were to go kctool.com and purchase right now, 5-piece set is $45. There's a 6-piece set that's $59.35. About a $15 jump there, right? And then there's a 6-piece set that happens to be this one that is currently $64.35. So basically $20 more. And you're thinking like, whoa, what idiot would do that? Well, me. You're like, well, what? Why? You know, mister, you just already lectured us on the savings of money. Why would you go shell out $20 to get a 6-piece set? And we know it's not because of that guy, because you just brought him in on the side. Here's the deal, okay? Every one of those, you know, slotted in Phillips sets that we list there, 5-piece, 6-piece medium, as Witte calls it, and a 6-piece large, as they dub it, they all get the same 1 and 2 Phillips. And you're like, okay, well, what's the difference? Slotted sizes? 100%. So, your 5-piece set, you're going to have a 4, a 5.5, and a 6.5. You're like, hey, that's a pretty solid set. I agree. Around the house, just to try this out, you know, sometimes if you get that like tool of the day or a big sale, it's like as economical as buying, say, 2 drivers. And that's how we wound up with a lot of screwdriver sets. But, 4, 5.5, and 6.5. Now, when you go to the 6-piece set that's dubbed the medium, you're obviously adding one driver, and it's going to be this one, the 3.5. You're like, okay, well, idiot, why do you have the 3.5 if you have the expensive set? Here's why. That 6-piece set is going to have, of course, the 1 and 2 Phillips, the 3.5, the 4.0, which is the same thing as the 5-piece, the 5.5, which is the same thing as the 5-piece, and you're like, well, what's it got next? The 6.5? It just added that and it jumped that big of a jump? No, it has an 8 instead of the 6.5. Obviously, the 8 is going to cost more than the 6.5. It's kind of a strange deal because I would have thought, like 6.5 would be pretty standard across the board. But that's the way they set it up. So your main difference between your 5-piece and your 6-piece, 6-piece gets the 3.5, and instead of the 6.5, it gets the more expensive 8.0, right? So if you went that route, you might want to add the 6.5. But you're here. You're watching my channel. You're not going to go that route. You're going to go the route I went. Why? Because I've already sat there, thought about it, and done the math for you. So this part number from Witte, their 6-piece large slotted and Phillips set, which is going to be part number WT89322. No, it's not. No, it's not. Ignore that. Their part number is going to be WT663864. What it contains is the 4.0, 5.5, and 6.5. And you're thinking like, we've heard that before, 4, 5.5, 6.5. Was that the 5-piece set? It is. And you're like, okay, well, what's the difference? It includes the 8.0. And you're thinking like, okay, well, so did the medium. And yeah, that's totally the case, but what does this 6-piece set large not have that the medium has? And the answer is the 3.5. So inversely, that means that this set has the 6.5 that the medium set doesn't have. So if you have to buy one standalone Witte screwdriver, which one is more economical? The little guy or the 6.5? The answer is this guy. You save money. Especially when you realize that the price right now, $59.35 for the medium, $64.35 for the large. What's the price for this guy? $663. What is the price for the 6.5? It's more than $663. So economically, this is the best bang for your buck. It gets you a 7-piece set. You're going to have slotted 3.5, 4, 5.5, 6.5, and 8. And you're going to, of course, have your number 1 and number 2 Phillips. Some of you are like, oh, I need a number 3 Phillips. Well, buy one standalone because Witte currently does not offer a set. Similarly, if you're ever in a point where you just need like one driver, or you've broken something and you want to try a different brand, that is a great way to do it. Always, though, please check around and make sure, like if that number 8 slotted is going to run you like, we'll say $28, and you can get the set on sale for $24, you're an idiot to buy one driver when you can spend $4 less and get 4 drivers that you may not need right now, but you'll have as backups. You can assign them elsewhere. You can give them away. I mean, the sky is the limit. So, interesting thing here, okay? If I just take this little 3.5, which conveniently for me does not have that idiotic barcode stuck to it, and I don't know if I can do this leaning over the camera or not, but we kind of got it through incorrectly, but through nonetheless. We got a 3.5. I'm turning this for the OCD crowd. It's going to be a lot better aesthetically for you. Just give me a moment. All right, so that's about as good as I'm going to be able to do, I think, for you. But, we have a 3.5, the 4.0. We've got the 5.5. We've got the number 1. We've got the 6.5. We've got the number 2 Phillips. And then we've got the 8.0. This is a killer way to do it. Why there's a 7-piece setup here? Probably for another set, maybe like with Posies. Maybe they have larger sets that aren't advertised or something. But for the money that we spent, which was roughly $70, this is kind of the getaway car in my opinion. You've got 4, actually we have 5 slotted now. and then the 1 and the 2 Phillips. If we want to add the 3, you can do that. You can take it to town. The great thing about these, let's grab the 6.5 since he's kind of a point of contention. If I'm thinking back with my Witte experience, this is going to have the same drive end as the number 2 Phillips. The other thing, these might have slightly longer shafts. I'm not 100% reminiscing correctly there. But this guy, if you can't tell, and this is one of the things I love that they do, aside from seeing the Germany there, you've got the size, and then you've got the 125, that's your length in millimeters. It's going to be 5 inches for us here in Old Schoolville. You got the hanging hole, you got the tri-lobe, it's fleeced for grip, and of course, right there, you get a really good side profile of the tri-lobe, and you've also got the size indication. So, in this particular case, not everyone likes the tri-lobe. Some people love it, some people hate it, some people it's okay, but they prefer something different. Again, my advice to you is to always try. If you're happy with something right now, like if you love Klein's, cushion grip, stick with it. If you're ever curious, like, man, that if they have another run of like soft number 2s or something, which is how I got started on this whole thing, and you want to try something, go to town. I believe it's Collin, which currently, this won't matter when you see this video, but if you're unaware, employees at KC Tool kind of build these sets out, and they're currently on promotion where you get 10% off, but I think it's Collin that has the number 2 sampler. You can go that route. That's where a lot of people buy like the bottle openers to get a feel for the handles. In my opinion, you're better off just kind of piecemealing together a set, or if you only use number 2 Phillips, or you always break, like a small Phillips because you pry with them like I mean a slotted, you pry like I do. Stockpile them. Keep in mind a lot of brands, like you'll see that's a very small handle compared to the 6.5 and the number 2 compared to the number 8. So it will change if you're looking for something massive, if you prefer something smaller. You got to factor all that in for yourself. If you watched all of our old videos, you'll have a pretty good feel for it. But for taking these to work, I think it's going to be a pretty sweet little setup there. So now what we're going to do is jump back in time a little bit, and I told you, ignore that. Part number WT89322. And you're like, man, how did you just rattle that off? You just have this stuff in your head. That is ridiculous. You don't even sell tools for a living. Why would you memorize part numbers and cross them? Well, I didn't. It was just a deal. I accidentally read the wrong line. And what wrong line did I read? It's one that has to do with this. So, this glorious setup right here is something, speaking of Collin and his number 2 sampler kit. I find things late at night when I peruse the internet, which I need to get inside and do because I've got a lot of coupons that go out here. It's September 30th, 10/1 tomorrow. By the way, there's a killer deal we're going to showcase here in a minute. This right here, I found in Witte's catalog, and it was a stand, and I was like, well, that's kind of cool. I wonder what the deal is there. And of course, what do? I'm like, hey, man, you think y'all could bring these in and sell them? I think they're 3D printed or something. And he investigated, and he's like, well, hey, I've got a 3D printer. I've got a standalone video on this thing. All I've done is paint the blue there so it stands out a little more. If you haven't seen that video, I recommend it, but I currently have it sitting in a drawer, second drawer down, so I've got good access to them. You can set it on a bench top, like let's say you're tearing something down, you need your precision drivers out. The other thing, this will actually stand up. The downside there, you don't get like the really cool Witte logos or anything in it, but it will stand, as you can see here. And what does that do? That gives you access to view what is in the set of drivers. So the current seasonal, or basically 3-month promotion, if you will, from KC Tool, which we should have flyers all over the place for, is got to do, it's right here. As you can see, summer 2023, which I believe was, June through September, July 1st through September 30th. You can come in and you can get either standalone drivers. This set right here is actually what that is. So hopefully some of you cashed in on it if you wanted to try those. You can have a couple more expensive options with the aluminum stand, which is great. And what we did, of course, is we've got these. We're set up at the house with them. I'm pretty happy with them in terms of what I've been using. I've got the Vihas over here as well. Of course, Viha no longer available. These are the updated design, not the old school ones. But apologies about the text. I think it's a bunch of fantasy football trash talk or something. But anyway, jumping in, what I want to showcase now is this. This part number right here is important, and it's not the one that I've talked about. All right. Article number, in this case, 893422016. This is going to showcase our sizes here. So you got a 1, a 0, and a 00. That second number is your length. There's your slotted 1.5, 2.5, 2, and 3. That's basically what this is. This box is what you see there in that set. This is what you would get on the current seasonal promotion. So you're thinking like, oh, okay, well, you just replicated that, you know, since you like them, and it ties in with your color schemes and everything, you're taking them to work. Cool. This will be a quick little run through. No, here's why. I only have one of these. This thing I would not have anywhere to set it at work unless I like throw the shelf up on the cart. So what I want to do is leave this here like it has been. It's either on top of my 2 electrical boxes down there, or it's in drawer number 2. And I love it, and I'm leaving it here. It's special, it's unique, it's something that would get filthy and trashed at work, and I don't want that to happen to it. So this is what we did. And this is a slightly more expensive option. You're like, whoa, 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 hey, what's the deal? This is interesting. That's actually a taller box than these. We'll have to make sure the contents are the same. But this, if you look, is article number 89322. And then there's some stuff there which we don't really need to worry about. And if you're thinking like, wait, is this going to be some other, like, here's the different set pieces, and this has superior drivers than the other one. Just timed out there. And that is not the case. What is the case is this. It's literally a case, right? Very nice segue that I didn't even plan. Congratulations. I sometimes impress myself. And I don't know if this is the top or the bottom. This is how it came out of the box. I was hoping for a Wittron logo. Oh, we don't have one. What a shame. I swear, back in the day, at work, we got a lot of Vihas, like the old school ones that came with like chip lifters in a little plastic case. Not plastic like this, but like a racked display case. We have stuff that's got Wittron across it, and that's what they call their precision drivers, evidenced by this, conveniently to support my claim, Wittron. I don't exactly know. I always thought that case had a flashlight in it for some reason, and it may have. Maybe it was repurposed, but I was hoping that it had. Some of you, if you've been around in an industrial setting long enough, or deal with precision drivers, collect tools, they used to have the Wittron, like, just it looked like an 80s, early 90s type of a sci-fi laser engraving writing, but it was like raised in silver. I really hoped that was on here. It is not, but this is also like not shut, so... Oh, okay. Okay. It's not as cool as what Collin 3D printed, but it's functional. And here's the deal, okay? We'll take a look at the lid here in a second, but this is basically what I was hoping to have, is just the ability to put this in a case that closes and have them tucked up out of sight, out of mind. Why do I need the precision drivers? Every once in a while I have to do electronic stuff. Here lately, it's been I've had to screw around with so many battery changes on the old Flukes. These are Fluke 77s. They're not even yellow. They're like gray. And, I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden the batteries are just dying, dropping like flies. I'm having to like go back and pull my 9-volt out of my El Cheapo, which I was disappointed. I took an El Cheapo to work that I thought had audible continuity, and it doesn't. I think it used to. The battery seems fine. How do I know? Because I'm constantly having to put it in Fluke 1 or Fluke 2. And I do have a number 1 there that I can use to turn the stupid screws out. It's an insulated driver, but it's a slim tip. It's just way cooler to have, you know, this. So we may add a couple as time goes by, but this is going to be a nice start. Just weird repairs, things like that. You never know what you're going to get into. So this is kind of cool because it shows you what's where. They also could have done it on the plastic, but I guess this is the more economical choice. So what we're going to have is a 1.5, a 2, a 2.5, a 3, and then we're going to have a, what was that? Okay, 1, 2, 2.5, 3, and then we're going to have the 00, 0, and the 1. So pretty much the same thing, right? 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3. Yeah, exact same contents. The price difference is the case. There is this little plastic insert here. I might actually foam underneath that just for longevity. The case is not the greatest quality. It does surprisingly have a metal hinge, so that's kind of good. So, I think it could be a little bit nicer, maybe a little bit more colorful. I would have loved to have seen a Witt badge or Wittron or something there. But hey, this is what I picked. I'm not gonna lie. The dream setup would have been to have one of the KC Tool aluminum stands with these there with some other things. However, I don't think that's going to fit in the top of my cart and be able to shut the lid. Now, if I never shut the lid, yeah, it would be great. But this is a cart, not a toolbox. It is a cart. And if we had like a hutch, I would have gone that route. But as is, I kind of wanted to just, you know, keep it compact, stowawayable, out of sight, out of mind. Easy to get to, easy to transport, you know, from A to B. Because let's be honest, you know, if I can go back and grab that set instead of move the whole cart, that's what I'm going to do. That's where the case comes in versus having the box set. And who knows, you know, maybe if I get a 3D printer, I'll fire one of these things off. And I'll have to go back and consult the email Collin sent to see what tips he had or something like this. But it's kind of a complex piece. But again, go back, check that video if you're so inclined. And what we've got now, I gotta flip some pages here, and my apologies. This is something that I brought in previously and hadn't gotten a showcase, so we're gonna do that right at this moment. And this is something else that I brought in that I wanted to showcase a long time ago, and I've not done it. My apologies. But what's going on is this right here. And you're thinking like, okay, what in the world is that? You got, oh man, it's like the Witt video, right? Well, kind of. We've got a Pro magnetic screw holder. It's going to be 3 pieces. There's 4.5, 6, and 8 listed there. And if we flip it around to the back, you're thinking like, all right, just had the card timeout on me and had to delete some stuff. Hopefully I didn't delete something I need. I've done that twice. Actually, it was corrupted files. And then I've screwed that up once, so recently, sadly. But, anyway, back to these. You're thinking like, okay, well that makes sense. You're going to slide it over the shafts of these drivers, and it's going to serve as a screw holder. You're 100% correct. And if you're thinking like, hey, those look vaguely familiar, like what is the deal there? Well, let me crack it open, and we'll come in. These are, let's see, they're sadly made in China. Most of this type of stuff is going to be done that way. But if I hold these up, you can see green is small, orange is medium, blue is large. And the way this is going to work, I'm going to actually go back over here. And we're going to just grab this little broken guy, which is going to work. No, it's not going to work. We need the medium size, apparently. Alright, so we can get this to function for us. That's going to work okay, not really ideal. But basically, we've got it on this broken driver, okay? And let's say that it was intact, and it was in fact a #1 Phillips. We would come here, and this is a terrible demonstration of this, but you get the idea, right? It's a crude working with what I got here. Let's actually grab one of these. It'll fit a little bit better. There you go. If this was a functional driver and Phillips, you would get to see it hold this in place just so you can kind of fish around and start the screw. Very, very simple, very functional, very useful item, I have to say. I know because I've been using the one that I've not made the video on for a long time. And prior to that, did we have any experience? Well, let's investigate. So what is this one exactly? It's going to be that article number, which I'm not going to read. I'll have it linked for you, though. And, shorter one is going to be 429,702. You know what this cost? $10.67. Kind of pricey, but when you think like, okay, it's going to be 3 of them and it'll work with my Witt drivers, which, you know, I'm kind of wanting to try out type of a thing. It's a very decent addition, I have to say. Now, if you think, man, I could swear, are you sure you didn't show those to us? It looks so familiar. No trickery on my end. You can see we've got these. You're like, oh, well, this is the ones that you said you wanted to show us and you didn't. No, no, no. These have been shown to you. And here's why. They're about 3 times the price as well. And you think, 3 times the price? What is that, Snap-on? No. What's the one place that could price something higher than Snap-on on occasion? That's right. It's Matco. So this should come as no surprise to you. Matco, of course, to their credit, I do believe they do a nice job like specking out companies to make things for them, and one of those companies is Witt, that who does their screwdrivers, at least some of their drivers, the expensive nice ones. I knew this was available. How? Because of course I peruse, you know, German tool websites late at night sometimes, and I saw these. I'm like, man, that's really sweet. You know, I wonder if we can get them. Sent it to Collin. It was one of those deals like, oh, I don't know, you know, it's ways off in the future probably. When I placed the 5K subscriber special order with Matco, this is one of those things I was like, you know what, screw it. Maybe they'll show up, maybe they don't. This is a surefire way to get them, right? Like, it's really hard to find SAE nut drivers from Witt without going through Matco. So this right here, it's literally the exact same thing. It's from the manufacturer, from KC Tool. You're looking at $10.67. These are currently $29.90 at Matco. I'm sure we maybe paid a little bit less than that, but $30 versus $10. Guess which route I'm going to go. So, unless you want the plastic case right here to have a Matco label, which you could realistically print out yourself, go that route. Trust me. So, are we done? We are not done, because there's something, and this one kills me, because I wanted to spend a lot of time on it. I think we will in the next video that I do, that like going back in time now. But I love this thing. This thing is stupid cool. Again, we will spend more time on it in the future. This is from, you might have guessed it, Witt. It's their part number, WT89793. This thing costs $10.56, so it's slightly less expensive than these guys. About 11 cents to be exact. So, what is it? You're like, oh no, it's a precision driver. You should have done that one when you did the precision driver set in the case. Oh, I'd agree with that if that's what this was. Certainly looks like a precision driver. Has to be a precision driver. Black and blue. Ooh, that nice machining that I feel there. Very, very nice. Right here, and you're thinking like, what is that? Slotted? Yada yada. I can't tell. Must be slotted. What's the big deal? You know, this is something that you needed. It must be, you know, that didn't have a #1 Phillips in it. You know, that's what you did. You went and got a #1 Phillips for it, right? So you can take out those screws in your meter. Well, no, it actually had a #1. So you're thinking like, okay, well, what is it? Did you get like a number? Good Lord, dude. Did you get a #2 Phillips precision driver? That's a little overkill. Well, let's take one of these bit of things that we've got here. So we got the KC Tool branded bit of things, and you're thinking like, what are you going to do with a bit of things? Okay, well, what's the deal here? That's definitely a #2 Phillips, folks, isn't it? I can't believe it. You bought a precision driver with a #2 Phillips in it. Take it in. I know, your mind was just blown. You've seen small bit holders, right? Very compact, very narrow, some good, some bad. You've seen precision drivers that have interchangeable bits, but what are those bits? They're always an eighth of an inch, like half this size. This is a standard bit, and this is a Felo, unfortunately. But look, it pops right in. So, let me fish around. Boy, this bit of things has been a doozy for us. I think I found it. Right here. This is from Witt. It's going to be a slightly lighter shade than the Felos. I do like the Felo bit of things as well. It's just for video purposes we need the Witt. So, bottom line though, any standard bit is going to be able to do this. So, I'm going to fish that thing out. It's hard with my thumb. My apologies, I can't get it done as quick as I would like. let's focus, shall we? Got the KC Tool branding right there. Spin it around. And you can tell it's not a Felo, hopefully, by that point. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it, and I want you to see this, the KC Tool. It's in. And what is it in? It's in this. Oh, the places we can go. Now, the only real downside here is you've got, of course, like the same collar you would if this was on, say, a full-size driver, a full-size bit holder type of a setup, right? But I'm telling you what, the things you can do with this, we can come in and we can spin it. All sorts, anything you can do with a precision driver, you can now do here. And this doesn't have to be a number 2 Phillips. Plug in whatever bit you want. Killer deal. Again, like I said, we'll spend a little bit more time on that. And if you think, oh, wait, that doesn't say slotted. It's not a line in the middle. It's sure not. It shows right there. It is a part number for it. And then you can see the 1/4-inch hex profile. So once again, fully functional. Everything you would come to know and expect from a precision driver, but with the ability to hold your standard bits. Take whatever bit set you've got, massive, small, frequently used. You got your bit holders, of course. You probably don't have a precision driver that can hold it. And you can get one, and it's $10. It's killer. It's one of Collin's favorite tools, actually. Long ago, when I bought the first one, which I've been using a lot for projects, I don't really think I can talk about those either, but he said, man, I saw that you bought that. I'm so glad. That's one of my favorite things. I'm like, yeah, that thing is sweet. And this, I like it so well here at the house, even though we haven't gotten to make that video yet. It's one of those deals that, like, I'm buying that for work. So sadly, in that case, there's not a spot for it, but truth be told, this thing is like too useful to be relegated to a case. It's going to be out all the time. So I think that is that, man. I think that's going to wrap this one up. So we've got stuff for work 100% here. We got the Felo tack claw. Don't forget about that guy from long ago. We got our Gedore 4 set. Very excited to see how those hold up in an industrial setting. We've got our precision driver set, which is in a case. This just looks way cooler. We've got our 7-piece sets that we've created of Maxx Plus drivers, which number 7 is in there. And we got our magnetic screw holders, and we've got a really freaking cool precision driver that accepts standard bits. And this video is full of win. Once again, if you want to relive any of the gloriousness that you've witnessed, timestamps are down below. I've also got links. All that is there solely for your convenience. That's right. Still, as of recording this, I don't make jack. Those aren't affiliate links. I've never had one. Maybe in the future we will. Currently don't. What does that mean? I'm not bought and paid for. I'm not influenced. I get this stuff with my own money. I simply showcase it. If you want to buy it, you can. If you don't, you don't have to. There's not many people that can attest to that. Especially, a lot of people, that's their goal. You know, that's like they want to come in here and just like post Amazon links and stuff. I've done this since a really, really long time. This channel itself is ancient at this point, 2011. That's why it doesn't get promoted much. And yeah, I'm just kind of here for the love of the tools, if you will. But yeah, all this stuff going to work, and man, is it going to look freaking sweet in the cart. So I'm excited about that. Again, I would take this if I had a spare type of a deal, but this one's too cool. I don't want to mess it up. So it's going to go right back over there to the electrical boxes. And I think that covers it, man. That is everything. Like I said, got to get inside. It's pretty late now, and I've got some orders I've got to place because those coupons go bad at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time tonight. But I told you, there is something going on here now. Since I don't know when this video will happen, this one's coming up. This is new, right here. This is still from Witte, but the hope to see you again soon deal. I've never seen one with that on it. Still the same bit of things on the back. I can't think of the last time I got a seasonal flyer in advance. I guess my orders don't typically line up at the end of the month, right? I would typically like be getting this one, you know, still, and be oblivious to this. But this is technically a look into the future. Just to prove you, I'm not pulling your chain here. It is 10:43 on September 30th. That's PM, folks. I do things late at night. Right here, this is the seasonal fall 2023. And you're like, that hasn't happened yet. Yeah, it starts like at midnight. Okay, and good Lord, there's some good deals in here. If you have been on the fence, or if you've held back on buying anything Stavilla because of the price tag, which is totally understandable, Stavilla and Hazette are going to be that upper echelon price point, if you will. This is going to be a killer start. This might be like the best seasonal I can remember, at least off the top of my head. We got a quarter drive comfort grip ratchet. We got a 3/8 bare handled ratchet. You've got a metric socket set. Right here, you've got, I believe, metric wrench set. You've got a ratcheting metric wrench set. This set is SAE and metric, which is like stupid rare for a German company to do. And then 3 iterations of torque wrenches. And if you know anything about their torque wrenches, they are quite expensive. I've never gotten to use one personally. I always wanted to. But yeah, this is a killer freaking deal. So with that said, folks, I'm going to get inside because I've got a Zoro coupon 20% off that's going to go. And just since I can tell you about that, because you'll probably see this ahead of time, I've got some air tools that have been sitting in my cart a long time. I'm going to pull the trigger, as you might have guessed, there for work as well. I also need a test meter lead that I cannot find, and I'm going to see if I can get that wrangled up and come in my direction. So yeah, pretty cool little haul, I have to say. Black and blue color scheme, 7-piece custom set, 7-piece precision set, 2-piece plier set, 1/3 the price Matco stuff, epic drivers that are unique, and a Stavilla sale that I am, yeah, we're going to... This might be the time I finally bring in their ratcheting wrench. That is a killer price on those things. So anyway, I'm going to quit rambling. I'm super excited. I got to get inside so I can take care of business, quite literally, you know. So what can you do to help me, you ask? Man, this guy spends a lot of time and money entertaining us. All I ask from you is that if you enjoy the video, you leave a like. If you haven't subscribed, do that. And if you know other people that would enjoy the channel, please tell them about it, because I get screwed otherwise. And, you think, well, what's this guy gonna do when he's famous and rich with YouTube money? I'm pretty predictable. I'm gonna keep buying tools and cars, and that's pretty much it. So that's kind of living the dream, in my opinion. So yeah, if you want to see this stuff used on a twin turbo Viper, just simply tell other people about the channel, and maybe we'll get lucky, who knows. But I don't clickbait, I don't do any of that stupid stuff, and you really don't get rewarded when you just play it by, you know, like content itself. So go figure. But with that said, LoneStarMopars.com is the website. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all 3 at Lone Star Mopars. And with that said, I had a great time. I hope you did too. I'm going to get this stuff packed up so I can take it to work Monday. And got to get inside. See, I got to check all this fantasy trash talk too. So I'll do that after midnight. Got some orders to place. But yeah. If you enjoyed the video, if you jumped your charger across the creek while spinning your Witte standard drive precision bit holder with one of the magnetic screw holders, YouTube just might notify you that we got new videos every Wednesday and Saturday, 9 a.m. Texas time. With that said, I sure thank you for joining along here. I hope you had a good time. Most importantly, I hope I catch you back here for more action from the shop.